Hey guys, it's Trauma, and I'm finally posting the long-awaited Desert Fortress guide. This guide's going to be a lot longer and a lot more in-depth for both VIP players and free players. In this run, we use a lot of cards that are easily obtainable for VIP players and a lot harder for non-VIP, but it is completely possible to do this without ever buying any gold. It's completely possible, and I'm going to show you exactly what decks to use and give you a rundown of everything step by step. So we'll just start off. I'm going to show you decks using legendary cards. I'm assuming VIP players will have legendary cards. This will be the deck I actually use in the run. So stage 1, you get Bum Rushed by Pegasus. So you use a lot of anti-air and nukes in this deck. Alright, and all three decks need to have whatever the nuke is for your class, you need the maximum of that. You need spells that do damage. You have to kill stuff without using creatures a lot. Deck number 2, you're up against a lot of archers and walls that do extra damage to cavalry. So if you have to have cavalry, make it just Ekin, because he does extra damage to archers. And a lot of ranged helps. Desperate Soul absolutely helps. Longbows help. You're up against archers, a ton of them. And then stage 3, you're up against Hero's Bane, Bow Towers, Walls, and Archers. And all you really need is your absolute best cards and nukes. If you have king cards, use those and spells. That's all you need. So we're going to start... Oh, no, I'm going to move to decks for free players, what you guys should use. So before anyone says pay to win, free players, you can absolutely do this. You may have to retry a couple times. You may fail a couple times, but you can absolutely complete this boss run. So first off, VIP or not, you need to have as many nukes as you can. They don't have to be epic rarity, but you need to have the spells, because even if they're green or blue rarity, they're still good. Second off, Vigilance. Whatever low cooldown Vigilance you have, or medium cooldown Vigilance you have, use that. And then use anti-air, of course. Most of you should have the bowmen that do double damage to flying. Even if they're low rarity, double damage will still one-shot the Pegasus or two-shot the Pegasus. Other flying creatures can also help because the Pegasus can't fly over them. And if you have all that, whether you have epic rarity, legend rarity, whatever, you will be okay. It may take a couple tries. You may need the right draw. You may have to reshuffle. Whatever. You'll get it done. Okay, so the second stage is very forgiving. You absolutely do not have to be VIP for this stage. You'll see why when we do the second stage. But it can be very, very forgiving as long as you have AoE nukes. Blizzard is good, Whirlwind is good, Fissure is good. Nukes don't have to do a huge amount of damage because archers don't have much health. And so put lots of archers and put lots of nukes and put lots of, I want to say magic damage, because you're up against walls that hurt melee characters, but lots of ranged is what you really need here, for stage 2 at least. And make sure the deck's not big. Just put your best cards in there. Your best cards or whatever the type you need, that's what you should put in there. Your deck does not have to be 30 cards or 25 cards. The round will not last that long, I promise. And if you can, bring a mage. I don't know if you're doing this with your guild, with randoms, doesn't matter. Bring a mage. We don't use a mage in this video, but a mage can petrify 2 mobs in a row, and other units cannot move through that lane, essentially blocking off that lane so you can focus all of your cards on the 3 other lanes. And so it makes it so if you don't have the best cards, there's less for you to worry about, less coming at you. And so the round 3, you have bow towers to kill, or bow towers, is that what they're called? I don't know. You have towers to kill, and you have walls, and you have Hero's Bane. You also are going to have like Tanwin and stuff, but low cooldown cards to take out the bow towers early on. Those are nice. Incorporeal, the Dread Phantoms, you should be able to attain those if you can get Desperate Soul. Even if you're a free player, if you can get Desperate Soul, that will help you immensely. it just immensely. It'll tear through a lane on this map or on that stage. All right, so you ready to start? You're about to start stage 1. Stage 1, you need anti-air because as you're about to see, Pegasus rush the heck out of you. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. So the first or the key thing here is to communicate. If you don't tell your team what nukes you have and what spells you have, you guys aren't going to know where to place your units and what enemies to use your spells on, and you're just going to overlap and you're going to get overrun. And so link everything. Just let your team know what cards you have and when you can use them. And if you notice right away, I say I have top. I'm going to take care of top. So my team knows they don't have to use their units on top. Because if we put all of our units in one lane, then the other lanes are going to get broken through, and we're just going to get overrun. And so that's the key here. And you have plenty of time to do that. You don't rush this. Use the full 30 seconds the game gives you to finish each turn. It's going to take you a while, but use that full time if you need to communicate. Because you don't want a Pegasus like that one with 8 attack and 7 health flying over all your units and rushing you. As you can see here, we have to make a decision whether to waste a nuke or not waste it, but not get the full potential out of a slash because that unit has 1 health left. But we don't want to get hit with 8 damage there, you know. And so that's where communicating really comes in handy. You know, if that Pegasus were to fly over and hit that Squire would be gone, and we wouldn't have that Vigilance unit there. And that could really cause issues for our base defense in the long run. That can really cause some issues. So yeah, you know, by this time, you're probably still getting overrun. You're probably trying to get Vigilance out there, use your nukes. The boss has a decent amount of cards. I mean, these level 40 dungeons, they do give the bosses more cards. They don't run out as quickly. But that's okay because they're not exceptionally hard to kill. They don't have a lot of health. So just keep killing them, you know, even if you get swarmed, use your backstab, use your vigilance, use your nukes, use your anti-air. And that's the gist of this stage, honestly. You know, if you're really struggling with this stage, message me to tell me the situation, and I'll try to get a specific answer back to you within. If you just message me in game, I'll get it back to you instantly. I guess I should say that. Also, save a nuke for Ophelia, the Westwind horse, because she buffs all of the Pegasus, even though they're not cavalry. We actually talked about that. They're not cavalry, but she buffs them. I don't know how that works. Maybe they should be given the cavalry trait. I don't know if that's possible. Anyway, there's going to be a couple Westwinds, if I remember correctly, so save a couple nukes. Because you definitely don't want that extra damage hitting your units. As you can see, we really get overrun because of it and because of Warcry and other buffs. And so that's where these AoE buffs, like you can see in my hand, like Fissure and Whirlwind Strike, that's where these come in handy, especially knockbacks, especially, you know, AoE that do damage in a line, you know, things like Blizzard, things like Frost Nova, AoE, you know, you need that. You need that area of effect damage. So at this point, I've basically exhausted all the advice I had for this stage, so I'm just going to talk about our group makeup. We ran with 3 warriors. There was no strategy behind this. There just wasn't anyone else online in the guild. So the main key point of that is we don't have a mage. For those of you that are free players, use a mage. It's basically equivalent to having the undead King Bale, because a mage can take out an entire line just by petrifying two mobs in a row. It can take out 2 lines if the petrifies return. You know, hypothetically, if you have all mages, you could just basically block up where the enemy spawns mobs. You know, use your class to your advantage if you don't have strong enough cards. But we don't have a mage in this run, so we're basically showing you what it's like without petrify. For those of you that don't have access to a mage. If you do have access to a mage, like I said earlier, block some lanes up. And my daughter's awake, so. Alright, I'm back. My voiceovers jump around a little bit. I apologize. It's not professional. I'm not professional. Oops. Anyway, at this point, the rush is basically over. You're just he's just spawning a few at a time. It's not real tough to hold back. And so now we have some video where you just kind of watch the rest of the stage, kind of the cleanup where the boss is running out of units and you're just trying to deal damage. You know what I'm talking about. So, I should probably talk about something. There's probably some important strategy I should get to here that I'm not thinking of. I'm going to do more in-depth videos like this. I want to do Castle of Bones in-depth like this. I don't think I should redo Windy. I can. I probably should redo Windy where we don't use King Velisar. I think that would help a lot of people, and I've had a couple requests for that. So I'll do a Windy video where we don't use King Velisar. But I'm gonna put some other videos out there, like Castle of Bones guide, similar to this one, and a guide to getting past some of the regions. Hint, hint, Pegasus Rush. Speak of the devil. And she's still awake. Hold on. Anyway, so we're nearing the end of the stage. Then we're gonna move on to stage 2. Stage 2 is a lot of archers. I mean, a lot of archers. They're going to be going up against Talonor, a couple of them, King Velisar, and so you need to have nukes for this. However many nukes you thought you had, it's not enough. You need a lot. I mean, just tons. And they're going to use something called entrench. All right, you want them to entrench. It gives them armor, but it makes it so they can't move. If they can't move past the spike walls, they can't actually shoot you. So the longer they're entrenched, the longer you're safe to kind of build up your units and get some hits in on the walls and draw the cards you need. But you'll see what I'm talking about when we come to it in a second. You'll see firsthand. Anyway, we're down to stage 1. About to get some silver. About to get some XP. About to get some rep. About to see victory. It's always like so inspiring. Like, victory. You're epic. Anyway, stage 2. So this stage can get a little bit complicated between the different types of archers and the spike walls tearing all your melee characters up, and him not being very consistent on when he uses entrench. But basically, you have spike walls that hurt you a lot when you attack them. Try not to attack them with melee. They also completely destroy any cavalry you send at them, so don't use that. Desperate Soul's awesome here. And so is AoE damage, like that Whirlwind Strike, because as you can see, most of the archers have 3 health, and that's not a lot. The ones in the beginning have 7 health. They're the ones that are going to run forward. They should be some of the only ones that will run forward, because you should entrench them after 2 or 3 turns. You should entrench, and entrench gives them armor. Like I said, it'll give them 2 armor, but they won't be able to move. So you'll have a harder time killing them with physical damage, but they won't be able to directly shoot you, just anything you place down. This is awesome because it gives you time to draw all the cards you need. If they're not attacking you, you don't have to place anything down to defend yourself. You can just wait until you draw all of your nukes, or you draw all of the special cards you need. But you do have to kill those first archers that come after you. Otherwise, life sucks and you die really quickly. But yeah, you're going to have tons of archers coming at you. You're also going to have them have the Sunder Armor buff. So if you do use Desperate Soul or you do use Dread Phantom, don't put them in the lane that has Sunder Armor, because Sunder Armor makes them not good anymore. The boss summons Godlike King Vel. He summons Godlike Talonor. Godlike Talonor gives all elves +2 damage instead of just +1, so be aware of that. And Godlike King Velisar makes your life a mess. There's entrench right there. That's what entrench does. And that's a good thing. You want them to entrench. You absolutely want them to entrench, because they can't shoot you or your characters directly if they entrench, which is awesome. I think I'm nearly going to die on this one. I died a lot in this guide. I basically look like a noob in this guide, so I apologize. Twitch carries us pretty hard. But yeah, I didn't take a lot of damage, and next game I'm totally going to die, so whatever. But you see how we're focusing the lands that have the only archer that moved forward, because we want to get him out of the way. And so if you're if you have a mage in your group, this is awesome. So let's say you want to cut off the bottom lane so you don't have to worry about it at all. you can just petrify that 3 archer there and that 4/7, and the other archer certainly can't move through. You can even kill the wall if you want to, and the other archer can't move through. Or you can just completely leave that lane alone. There's nothing they can do to hurt you the second you petrify that lane. But we don't have that option, so we're kind of playing all of the lanes right now. In the beginning, we push mid. We push middle because we don't know where Talonor is going to spawn. We don't know where King Belisar is going to spawn. So we absolutely push middle. For VIP players, King Belisar is awesome here until the other King Belisar comes out. You don't want them to be in the same lane. So there he is. Churn 5, it looks like. So pretty quickly. So I have my slash, and someone else has a nuke. Twitch has a nuke, and his crit, so he didn't actually need mine, but whatever, as long as King Vel dies, that's what's really important here. King Vel has to die. And so their entrench ended, and Warcry began. Warcry gives them all extra attack. So now they're basically snipers. They're intense snipers too. If you guys ever watched Bones, they're like Booth. They're just like super cool, oddly somewhat sexually attractive snipers. They're good. They know how to screw you up. Anyway, Warcry starts. And hopefully he'll entrench again, but I do know that Warcry is basically up the whole time. And just random ones have Thunder Armor. There's no pattern to it. He just gives it randomly. So there's Talonor and another Belisar. He has multiples. I think we see 2 or 3 Talonors here. They're not nice cards. But as you can see, we're holding them back. We're putting a lot of units out there that are just dying right away. That's okay. That's a lot better than your characters taking hits that do 10 damage, or your characters taking hits that do 7 damage. Because you don't want that. You'll die so quickly. It sucks. Okay. Anyway, as with all the other stages on level 40 dungeons, bosses do not run out of cards quickly, so you're going to be putting up with this for a while. But like I mentioned in the beginning, you don't need a 30-card deck. However long, even if your deck is the minimum deck size, it's still going to be enough. You do not need a 30-card deck for any boss fight in this entire game. It's actually better at some points to have a smaller deck because you have a better chance of getting all of your nukes and getting the strong cards you need. You don't want fodder. In some cases you do. In some cases you just want quick, weak cards to throw out there, but it doesn't really work all the time because the boss's cards aren't quick and weak. The boss's cards hurt a lot, and so you need to be able to take them down within a relative time. And so as you can see right here, he just spawned a, I think, 3rd Talonor, and he still has King Vel up because my slash didn't crit, so that's sad. But I have 2 health, and this is where things get intense because I live this round, best believe. King Vel saves the day. So like I said, King Vel is equivalent to like having a mage in the group because King Vel effectively blocks an entire lane from killing you. Same thing with Petrify. It blocks an entire lane from hurting you. And so please don't scream, oh, you used King Vel. I can't do this because I don't have King Vel. Yes, you can. Shut up. You can do this just fine without King Vel. King Vel does the same thing a mage does. He blocks a lane, and that's what you really need. So it's turn 9, and he entrenched again. We're basically at a good point for him to entrench because there aren't really any archers that can reach us directly, except for lane 1, which has King Vel in it, so we're okay. But at this point, it's more along the lines of we've killed their last King Vel. Everyone hurry up and rush Talonor, because Talonor needs to die ASAP. And once Talonor dies, it's just cleanup, because their attack won't be so high, and their health is already low. I mean, they're archers. They don't have a lot of health. Jeez, I was so worried about making an in-depth guide. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to speed up the video at all. I want everyone to see step by step what happens. And now I'm like finding myself running out of things to say. I feel like my voice is shot. I don't know what did that. Maybe I need to go eat something. It's like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I haven't eaten yet. But I'm running out of things to say. I'm running out of advice to give. So I'm going to ramble. Desert's pretty hard. It is. Uh, it's totally possible. We did this without failing any stages, but we have really overpowered cards. People with less overpowered cards, please don't scream and shout that it's not possible. I keep saying this over and over again because so many people are saying, "Oh, I can't do desert because I don't donate." You don't have to donate to be good at this game. I'm an Adrenaline Rush. It's the rank 1 guild. The leader is a guy named Manga. For those of you that don't know, Manga is VIP 0. He has never bought gold in this game. He's one of the top players in Arena, and he's the leader of the top guild. He does just fine without donating. It's completely possible. This game is not pay to win. I mean, it is on some level, but it's not completely pay to win. You don't need to pay to win. It's a strategy game through and through, and it's a card game, which means it's luck. So please don't say I can't do Desert Fortress because I don't buy gold. Yes, you can. You may have to add a couple attempts. It may take you a little bit longer, but you can absolutely get it done. Okay, so we're reaching the end of the stage here. And so we're going to be moving on to stage 3 after we see this awesome victory screen. It's like, yeah, you killed him, you rock. That's how I picture in my mind, like a whole stadium of people just watching some nerds kill what is essentially Velisar with a different name. It's the same avatar, whatever, of Velisar, from the looks of it. Anyway, stage 3. God, how do I even begin? Lots of Hero's Bane. Hero's Bane essentially screws you up. I mean, you really have to be vigilant of it and at the same time get lucky. Like for me, we got really unlucky this run, actually. I die because all this Hero's Bane gets summoned in my lane right away, and so we just couldn't do anything to save me. Um, but one huge thing, just to start off the whole environment of stage 3, is to kill these towers, because these towers are just immediately shooting you, and they have a lot of health and they do a lot of damage. And you're about to see what I mean, what I'm talking about. So, King Bale, absolutely essential here. If you don't have King Bale, use a mage. Just even if it's just one mage, use a mage. Whether you're playing with guildies, randoms, whatever, use a mage. You need Petrify, or you need Fog of War, or both, because both would be awesome. But you have these towers, and they're 412, and they're immediately attacking you. You also have some weak archers, and the enemy has walls. So don't worry about any of that right now. Your main focus is those towers. Actually, those towers and the Hero's Bane. The Hero's Bane hurts. And even if Fog of War is going on, Hero's Bane still hits you. I know that sucks. It really does suck. And so you're losing health without being able to do anything about it at first. But nukes. That's why I'm so vigilant. I'm so static. Whatever the term is for it. I'm not very literate. I'm not good at talking. As anyone who's watched my videos can tell, I suck at talking. Whatever the term for it is, very serious about using lots of nukes. Because as you can see right here, those fissures right away, they just take out whole lanes of these low health enemies, and it just helps so much. It's just immense help. So I'm gonna get my Emperor Augustus out for a whopping like 2 turns before I die. But basically, you want to kill those towers as fast as possible, and we certainly don't do it as fast as possible. But the boss petrifies our units, effectively giving us walls in 2 of the lanes, so that helped a lot. I mean, we were able to get rid of those towers without taking too much damage because of the boss petrifying our units. The boss does petrify units quite often. If you have a mage in your group, petrify the Hero's Bane. Don't waste it on archers. You want to petrify like Tanwin. Petrifying Tanwin is actually awesome because the boss can't summon another Tanwin while that's out. Yeah, block up a lane. Really just ignore the fact that my voiceover cut out. I'm still really bad at editing. I'm improving a little bit. From seeing my first Sanguine Tribe video that sucked and I was really boring on the voiceover. Whatever, I'm getting distracted. ADHD, I blame it. Anyway, as you can see there, I was right about to fissure, and then someone used Whirlwind Strike. We weren't communicating good enough. You have to call that out, because that would have been a complete waste of 2 skills if we both used it at the same time. On a separate note, the boss has lots of cards, and the boss is just going to keep summoning Hero's Bane until you die. And Tanwin's godlike Tanwin's Wildfire, whatever the freaking name is, they are hurt 3 Hero's Bane. Does 3 damage to you. And he just kept summoning them in my lane, and Hero's Bane really messed me up. But we pulled through because of overpowered cards. But like I keep saying over and over again, you don't need them. A lot of the cards we used aren't that overpowered. On this stage they were, but all that really did was make it so we didn't have to try multiple times. We got it on the first try. If you just use regular epic cards or even rare cards, you're not gonna get it on the first try probably unless you're lucky, but you'll definitely get it. 2 or 3 tries. Maybe Hero's Bane goes in the right lanes. Maybe you get Petrifies when you need them. You get Whirlwinds when you need them. You'll definitely get this done. I'm trying to think of what else I should talk about. The boss has a lot of cards. Boss has a lot of health. You can actually get outlasted by the boss on this stage because the boss will kill a few of your heroes from Hero's Bane, and even though you've killed all the units and the boss is out of cards, sudden death will kill the rest of your players before you can actually finish the boss off. And that's a really frustrating feeling. So try to just kill the Hero's Bane as fast as possible. The archers are not that bad. Don't worry about them as much. It's the Hero's Bane you really want to take out. And so the boss also summons Talonor on this map. And since the Hero's Bane mages and the archers are both elves, he's nice to take out early. You don't want to leave him out because that's really going to hurt you because it affects everything. I mean, the entire boss fight, Desert Fortress in general, is just elves, so Talonor is just a focus target always. This is also a good general tip for bosses. Save a nuke on you. If you have Slash, don't just randomly use it on some mob just because it's there and it might speed up everything. Save Slash. Something will come out that you have to use Slash on, that it will be more useful to use Slash on. You don't have to use cards right when they're ready. You can hold on to them. It's very, very useful to hold on to cards sometimes. And that actually goes for this whole game. I mean, even in PvP, you don't need to just spend cards right when you get them. Sometimes it's best to hold on to them. Anyway, this stage is very long, so I'm running out of things to talk about. I'm just going to go over the key points of the stage. Pay attention to Hero's Bane. Take out the bow towers early. Block lanes. Just block 2 lanes if you can. If you can block 2 lanes with Petrify, that's amazing. Do that. Because it just makes it so you can focus all of your units and all of your nukes on the 2 other lanes. And that just makes this fight 10 times easier, no matter how good your cards are. I remember we had this one run of Desert Fortress where we had Undead King Bale, where if you don't know what he does, every time you kill a monster while he's out, they turn into a zombie that's on your side. And then we had one guy who had Armageddon, which is a legendary mage spell that you can only get from it's a very rare occurrence from the fusing tab in your alchemy lab. That rhymed. Bill Nye the Science Guy. All right. Anyway, it's a really rare drop, whatever you want to call it. And it's like a 7-turn card, but it basically does 12 damage to everything on the field. So it's going to kill essentially everything. But 12 damage doesn't kill Bale. So if you put Bale out and then use Armageddon, and we did this one time, it basically turns all of the enemy's mobs into zombies. And it made it so the enemy couldn't actually spawn anything. So we basically had this churn, this whole stage was done. After churn 8, we were just done. It was over. Nothing could possibly happen. So we just turned on auto, and that was the coolest thing to ever happen in this whole game ever. Besides that video of Zodi one-shotting a person, because that was pretty sweet. So as you can see at this point, we've completely pushed back the boss. Emperor Augustus is really helping with that, but yeah, and Desperate Soul. We've completely pushed back the boss. Hero's Bane is going to summon and I'm going to die, and that's going to get rid of a couple of the king cards. But Twitch is going to summon his, so they're not going to lose, you know. And you have to understand, especially in the super hard bosses like this, don't immediately surrender if one person loses. You can still recover it, and in a lot of cases, you'll be successful in recovering it. Because one person dying does not mean that's the end of the boss fight. You know, at this point, as you can see, there's barely any enemy cards out. We can absolutely still salvage this, even though I died. It looks bad on this video that I died, but whatever, it's a guide, you know. There has to be some mistakes, so you guys can see that it's not just OP cards owning everything. Oh, and holy cow, this video is long. Dude, I just want to know, like, just if you watch this whole video, if someone just sat there and watched this whole video without skipping through it, and you heard this part right here because you watched the whole video, let me know in the comments. Just tell me. I want to give you a high five. I want to give you something because that's amazing. I'm having trouble talking through this whole video. I don't know. I'm having trouble talking through this whole thing. I don't know if anyone's actually going to watch this whole thing. I think most people are going to skip through it and look for the parts that they're struggling on of Desert Fortress or the tips that they need, whatever. I think most people are going to skip through it. I don't think anyone's going to sit down and watch a 35-minute video. But I'm making it. So, at this point, boss fights basically over. And I'm going to scratch my chin while I think of stuff because it makes me look smart. Yeah, Augustus saved the day. We're going to get Bale out here right at the end. So he doesn't really help all that much, but whatever. You know, just kind of looks cool. But yeah, a mage is equivalent to a king card in this when it comes to this. And that's basically a general rule of thumb. Because of Petrify, mages are equivalent to overpowered cards because they can block an entire lane. So, developers, you decide what that means, but I'm just saying. Anyway, running to the end of this. Got about a minute left in this stage. This run went, besides me dying, this run went really, really smoothly. You know, we killed the boss before he even ran out of cards, you know. We didn't actually have that much Hero's Bane get summoned. Normally the boss summons a lot more Hero's Bane cards, but it's random, whether it's Hero's Bane or Archers, so you can get lucky. You know, if you're failing a lot, you could just be getting really unlucky and not getting any of the Archers. You're just getting all of the mages and Hero's Bane, and that sucks. So, anyway, it's over. I'm going to pick my prizes. I'm not going to get anything good, so don't get too excited. But I'm going to go over a quick review of the main points that you need to remember when doing this, because it's good to review. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, tell me how I can improve, call me names, whatever. So, get 2,000 silver. That's like my 11th or 9th dungeon of the day, probably 9th, so I don't get any, I only get one pick, whatever, I'm probably out of picks at this point. So here's the review of everything. Review for both VIP and free players. Stage 1. You need anti-Pegasus units, anti-air, vigilance, and lots of nukes. Stage 2. You need archers, non-cavalry, and lots of nukes. Stage 3. You need either King Bale, Emperor Augustus, or a mage, and you guessed it, lots of nukes. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, please subscribe, give me a hug, hit me up in game, and I'll get the next video out very soon.